You're watching Soulful Discussions. Ciao.
All right. So, hi. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, first of all, how did we just cross paths right now? How did we meet?
So I'm walking down the Venice boardwalk, and I just met Brittany, and that was it. He asked me if I wanted an interview, and here we are.
Absolutely. So, you asked me. You said, what is the interview about? You said yes first.
Yeah.
Then said, what is it about? What did I tell you it was about? What are we talking about?
We're going to be talking about feet, mental health, and reflexology.
Okay. So let me ask you this: when you hear the word feet, what do you think about? First thing goes to your mind.
Foot fetish.
Oh,
instantly.
wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I feel like it's really a popular subject these days. Like,
Okay.
people are like opening up to it more and talking about it more. So.
Okay, sweet. So we're gonna ask you some questions. It'll be your thoughts about how you feel about the subject matter. Just feel free to answer however you like during that moment, okay? And then what about mental health? When you hear that term, what comes to mind? Anything come to mind?
Self-care therapy. I'm also doing like a therapy called Somatic experiencing.
Okay.
Which is like very much like shadow work. So I feel like anything just along the realms of you taking care of yourself, essentially, just so that you can show up for other people. I think it's extremely important, and definitely a subject that we're talking about more as well. And
Absolutely.
you find out that everyone, like, no one knows what they're doing, and
Yeah.
everyone's just trying their best.
Yeah, we're all just like trying our best out here, and I guess the more information you have about things, how to deal with different things that we deal with emotionally and things like that, the better it is. Today we're going to talk a little bit about social media, the impacts it can have on depression and anxiety. So just feel free to answer however you like during that moment. And then lastly, reflexology. Have you ever heard of that before?
It kind of.
Okay.
Can you refresh
Sounds
me?
familiar?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
It's a term of like for like muscle like therapy in a sense, right?
Very, very close. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you some information today. It'll be about like what reflexology is, and then you can just tell me your thoughts about it. How do you feel about it? Have you ever experienced it before? Anything like that? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with the first question. What are your thoughts about how the world's starting to become more aware of mental health and like what we're starting to do about it? How do you feel about that?
I think it's a great step. I feel like everyone has to make the decision for themselves if they want to better themselves, and I think if you don't decide that, then you're going to continue to live the life that you're going to live, whether you're happy or not.
Very much.
So it's all a choice. But I think the more we talk about it, the more people get comfortable. So I
Mm-hmm.
think we are taking the right steps right now with talking about it more and more. And I just hope that everyone like takes that chance one day and just gives themselves the space to show up for themselves. I think it's super important. But
Absolutely.
we're getting there. I don't think we're quite there
No,
yet. But
we're not there, and that's what I usually get. Like, we're not there yet, but it's a good first step. Like, in terms of, I think the pandemic was a big like
absolutely
thing that kind of like unveiled like a bunch of things that people were dealing with, and that they probably didn't even know that they deal with. So, definitely, like you said, just like a good first step. Let's keep that going. In terms of social media, what are your thoughts about it, first of all, and then how do you yourself use it?
I think it's really hard not to compare yourself to other people on social media, like especially when the focus is on, body and beauty and like being a certain way and like being trendy. Like, it's, I think, hard not to try to be like everyone else and like show up for the likes and actually put out their authentic content. But of course, I feel like that's a part of mental health. Like, when you start to show up for yourself authentically, then you start to put yourself out there authentically. And I think the more that people do that, like, hopefully social media will start to just become like still a platform for creativity and expression, but in a sense where we're supporting each other instead of beating each other down.
Absolutely. And I think I've heard from quite a few women that for them, like, sometimes just dealing with the anxiety of like what to post, right? Because you're always trying to like, is this witty enough? Like, is the picture good enough? Like,
are
the
people
quality.
gonna get it?
Yeah, it's like different things like that. And it's like it used to be a little less than that. Like, you used to just be able to just post something and have fun with your friends. Now it's more about how do you compare to this person, and this person gets more likes. Why do they get more likes? All
and
these
like
different
marketing,
things.
of course. Like,
Absolutely.
it's all about the business and the money. It's like, okay, like,
It's
you don't
crazy.
know what's like authentic anymore.
It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. In terms of social media, right? Let's say somebody came to you, right, and they said, "Hey, I'm going to give you the power to change something about it." Is there anything you would change? Do you kind of feel like it's okay the way it is? Is it more the people that need to change the way they use it? What do you think there?
I guess just like maybe it would be great if people just showed up with more of an open mind instead of just like, attacking other people. Like, if there's something that they don't understand, like maybe just ask, or like just put yourself out there and like respond to people and just be kind. I feel like that's like the one thing like I would say is like just like there is cyberbullying and just the way people react to each other. They get triggered by each other, but it's really just like their own insecurities or like their own issues that they're going through. So
they're just
being kind to
projecting
one
it on
another.
you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In terms of anxiety, right? Is there anything you deal with? And you don't have to go too in depth, just maybe more surface level things, anything you deal with. And then if you do deal with things in terms of anxiety, do you have any countermeasures, anything you do to counteract the emotions when you feel that?
Yeah, I think like a daily practice for me has been best. So I meditate every day.
Nice.
Like I said, I do somatic experiencing, which
Yeah.
is has helped my emotional
Can you
health
tell us a little bit
lot.
about that? Because I've never
Yeah.
heard of that before. So can you like,
It's kind of hard to explain, but pretty much like I sit there with like a counselor or a practitioner, and I just tell her like what I've been going through, if like certain things trigger me, and then we kind of dive into the feeling. So I close my eyes and I sit there, and we really just focus on whatever's coming up.
I see.
So that we're not ignoring like the anxiety or
Yeah.
like the anger that I have,
anger
or,
or
like,
sadness, whatever it may
all
be.
of it. Like
Yeah.
you don't ignore it, because those emotions get stored in your body, and that's like a huge way that disease actually comes about, is like the repressed emotions and like unresolved trauma that's in your
Interesting.
body.
I like
so
that.
like, and it's definitely in terms of generational trauma, like
Yeah.
you know, it goes up to 7 generations. So
Yeah.
like I could be carrying like my grandma's trauma that she never
so
dealt
much.
with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just stuff like that, I would say, just like daily practice. I do that weekly. And then just, you know, surround yourself with people that
Positive vibes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Okay, let's get into these questions. I'll be intrigued to see what your thoughts are. How do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts?
My feet,
How do you feel about them?
I would give them a like 7 out of 10 score.
7 out of 10?
Yeah.
So I wasn't even asking for the score, but you gave me one. But I want to know how you
You know
feel
what I
about them.
mean?
Do you like them? You
Yeah,
don't like them?
I
Okay.
mean, like, they're not like the prettiest feet in the world, but yeah,
Okay.
I like them.
All right. Do you find yourself comparing yourself to like, because you know, like you said, you got all these foot models and things that are out here. You find yourself comparing yourself to any of that? Like, mine's not as good as hers or anything like that?
Yeah, sometimes, because I like think of the people who have like feet fetishes, and I'm like, what is it in their brains that like makes them click and go like, that's a nice foot? So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always like curious to like get different perspectives.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Let me ask you this. Have you ever received a compliment about your feet? Anybody ever
Yeah.
told you that? Okay. When you got that compliment in that moment, what came to mind? What did you think about? What were your feelings in that moment?
I had responded immediately and said, you have a foot fetish. And the guy was like, yeah. I was like,
Interesting.
okay.
Let
Like,
me ask you
cool.
this though, right? Because like I get that a lot, right? A lot of times like people call it a fetish when somebody likes that, right? But like when like guys are like into breasts or butts, right? It's not
not a
considered a
fetish.
fetish.
No.
It's considered like that guy's a breast guy, that guy's a
Yeah,
butt guy.
'cause it's normal.
Why is it different? Yeah, exactly.
It's
Why is it
normal.
different?
It's society's projection.
So
of
when I
what's
go out, I'm
normal
doing these
or not.
interviews. This is kind of like what I'm trying to do is making it more normalized conversation. So like we'll kind of get a little bit more into that, but I was just wanted to know where your mind was. Why do you think that way?
I think it's like the guy that I had gave me that compliment
Yeah.
was so confident about it that I didn't second guess anything. I was like, that's awesome. Like,
Interesting.
good for you. Like, if
I
you
love. So you
really
didn't look
like
at it as a
something-
negative. You were more
Oh,
like,
no.
oh,
I
that's
was
dope.
like, that's awesome. Like that you're so
I love
confident about
that.
it, and it's not weird, and like
I love
even
that.
if like society thinks it's weird, like you don't care, and like I loved that.
I
So
love
like
that.
I support people in a way. I'm like, do what you love, like even if it's feet, like I support you.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Let me ask you this: in terms of compliments you receive, not just about your feet, not just physically, but compliments in general. Is there a certain compliment that when you get it, you're like, that really made my day. That made me feel good.
Yeah, I love hair compliments. So I actually just had pink hair before this.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah,
I would have loved to have
getting
seen
a hair
that.
compliment. Yeah, it was bright pink. I did it for 2 years, so it was
Okay.
time to go back to a natural color. But yeah, I loved the hair compliments. I was like,
Nice.
thanks.
Like absolutely. Another question, in terms of like if you're dating somebody or going to start dating somebody, what is something you consider to be like a potential deal breaker in a potential partner or somebody you're dating?
Honestly, it's all about energy for me. Like I really
Okay.
have to click with the person. I want to feel safe with them. I mean, there's like definitely certain deal breakers, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a very
You can't
spiritual
point to like
person.
one specifically. Like you're more
Yeah.
like just how we kind of get along and things like that.
Yeah, no, I think just like if we vibe on like a certain energy level, and like I feel like the rest doesn't really like matter. Obviously, I think there's certain things where I'd be like, I'm not attracted to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if there's attraction and there's a connection, then
I love
I'm
that.
open.
Nice. In terms of pedicures, how often do you get pedicures?
I usually just paint my own toenails.
You paint your own nails?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I would like to get them like once
All
a
right.
month.
So the better question
it's just
for you
money.
is,
like,
when was the last time you had a pedicure?
I think it's been a couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
a
it
couple
just
months.
time? Is Is it money? Like
It's money. So I just
Okay.
left my job to start my own business. So
Yeah, you
like,
did say that,
yeah. So I'm very much like watching what
It's
I
like
spend.
I gotta make sure.
I'm
Like
gonna
I
paint
keep.
my own nails. It's
I love that.
fine,
But yeah, do it yourself, man. Like if you can, like why not, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
No.
All right, so that's when you go see a podiatrist, specialist of the foot. They'll take a look at your feet to make sure like your toenails are growing correctly, like your toe alignment is right. They check your foot for like dead skin, fungus, do all the work there with like medical grade equipment. What would your thoughts be on going to see somebody who can give you more insight into like what's going on with your feet, like not just like cosmetically painting them, but like letting you know like, hey, this is what's happening here?
Sure, I'd be interested.
Nice.
Why not? I don't know. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, well, I get some people who are like, well, if I had a problem, sure. I'm like,
I mean, I definitely don't have a problem,
Yeah.
but also I'd be like, well, try it out. Like, you can't like knock it till you try
it's
it,
also
right?
upkeep, right? Because like I think the same thing like when you think about dentists, right? People are like, well, if something's wrong with my teeth, I'll go. But then it's like you don't know what's happening to your
Yeah.
teeth, so it's always good to go just to like
Get
kind
a
of check up and see
checkup.
like, hey, what's happening here or whatever like that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Sure, I do it.
How can you wear open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops, things like that?
Usually just to like yoga or
Okay.
like if I'm running errands, but
So
I
you're more of a
typically-
sneakerhead?
Yeah, or
Okay.
boots. Like I love boots.
Okay, lovely. Is that so? That's more of your style or
Yeah.
comfort? More.
Both.
Okay, both. Cool.
Yeah.
How often do you go barefoot? No shoes.
Never, unless I'm like at the beach or if there's grass.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
about it. Then
Well,
I like do some earthing.
surprisingly, I love the fact that you say grass because some people say in grass they wouldn't go barefoot, and I'm like,
It's so refreshing. Like I just think of like Coachella, like weekend one. There's like fresh grass. You're running around the campsites, like,
Yeah.
with a drink in your hand. Like just, it's great.
some people don't think about that energy that you just get back from like experiencing that. So
Yeah, no, it's really beautiful, and it
Absolutely.
just feels like it's like cold and it's like sensational. And
nice. All right, so now can we see what your feet look like?
I haven't. My toenail polish looks
We're-
terrible.
It's not really about that. We just want to see, can you be comfortable in this moment right now?
Yeah.
All right. So first of
I'll
all,
do
what
it.
size do you wear?
I wear a size 7.
Does it vary depending on the type of shoe you wear? Like if you're
Yeah,
wearing
like if I wear sandals, I usually go for like a 6.
okay, and then okay, cool. And
There you go.
then
I have to do my toenails.
they don't look bad though, but you did it yourself, so
Yeah.
it's like absolutely pretty
They're
good.
just a little old. It's been a few weeks.
Absolutely. All right, and I'm gonna get you to, if you can, just like kind of place your feet over here, turn this way a little bit, so that we could get them in view. Okay.
see.
And so let me see here. Your toes look like they go from second toe is slightly bigger, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so you have what's called the Grecian toe alignment. I don't know if you ever heard of that before. So you have different types of toe alignments. There's the Egyptian, there's the Grecian, there's a Roman. There's one that's more of like a beggar's foot. You have what's called the Grecian toe alignment. So second toe slightly protruding. A lot of people in Greece tend to have that. Okay, let me get you, if you can put your feet out straight so we can see the bottoms like this. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let me ask you this. How are you feeling? We met like 12 minutes ago. Been talking a little bit. Now we look at your
Yeah.
feet. How do you feel in this moment?
I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm
Okay.
like, where's this video gonna end up?
Okay, let me kind of get into like the mental health of what started me on my channel, and I'm gonna share my YouTube and everything with you before we leave. And then leave your feet up. We're gonna go through a couple more exercises.
Okay.
Yeah. So during quarantine, I was watching another guy's channel. He was talking about exposure therapy. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's for people. Let's say, for example, you go to theme parks, but you're afraid of like roller coasters, so you never get on them, right? You want to, but you're like, man, I don't know how to get over this fear, right? Therapists will like prescribe for you, go out, do it over and over again, right? You're gonna feel uncomfortable in the moment, right? But despite that uncomfortability, the more that you do it, you'll become like slightly more comfortable. You still gonna feel uncomfortability, but you'll know how to deal with it. You're like, okay, I'm feeling like this, but is anything threatening my life? Anything threatening my safety?
Right.
And then like, you know, realistically, you'll be like, well, no, nothing's happening like that. So just move forward, right? So when I heard that, I was like, man, in the past, I've always been an overthinker. I overthink everything. Like I could be like, you know, should I go to the store at this time or that time? And like just different types of things, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I wanted to always be somebody who was more of a snap decision person, like just do it and
Just
see
do
what
it,
happens.
yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool. I like that. Let me take that philosophy. Let me tie that together with the subject of feet. A lot of people feel uncomfortable about feet. They're like, it's a weird thing. It's taboo. Like you said, people think immediately like fetish when they hear it, right?
Yeah.
So to go out and ask women, like, what are their thoughts about it? How do you feel about it? All these foot models you have coming up, what are your thoughts? Are you open to it? Are you somebody who's like more closed off to it? And what I do is I take all these reactions I get, I put them up as my interviews or whatever like that, so that people, let's say, for example, there's somebody who they do have an interest in feet, right? A lot of times they tend to feel uncomfortable expressing that to people because they feel like, well, somebody's gonna see me as weird or odd or whatever it may be. So they tend to show that off. And like you said, those repressed emotions and things like that, things that you don't do, can sometimes lead to other things. So basically to just, like I said, normalize the conversation around it so people can be more comfortable just having a conversation. Like if you had a friend who was interested, they could just come up to you and be like, hey man, I really like feet. And you could have a conversation without that, without it being weird and being like, oh, okay, this is kind of
check out these toes.
so what are your thoughts about that kind of my channel, what it's like trying to do? How do you feel about that?
I think it's cool. Do
Nice.
it. If it makes you happy, do it.
Nice. Thank you so much. So yeah, I've been doing this for a year. I'm at like 15,000 subscribers now. Just like go out and I do it over and over again. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about reflexology and then we'll let you get up out of here, okay? So reflexology is all about the different pressure points you actually have in your hands and your feet. Those pressure points actually connect to different parts of your body, right? So for example, let's say through massage, through acupuncture, through acupressure, you can actually alleviate stress and tension to various parts of your body. So if you're somebody who deals with migraines, right, there's actually a way to like kind of target the pressure that you get in those moments by applying pressure to like your toes, your fingers, like different areas like that. You can actually like help that go away. What are your thoughts about that? Kind of like reflexology, what it can do?
I've seen charts that show like different
zone therapy. That's what it's called.
Yeah, like I've seen it, and it's actually pretty incredible.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced it?
No. No, I definitely haven't.
I'm
intrigued by it.
I would suggest like if you ever are dealing with certain pains, if you're not somebody who like jumps straight to medication and you want to find a holistic way,
definitely,
I would suggest doing that because like a lot of people feel like a whole bunch of different. So I've done it myself. Huge difference like when you get up from the massage table. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with that being said, when we usually get into reflexology, we usually talk about sensitivity, right? How ticklish do you tend to be?
I would say pretty ticklish.
All right. When you get pedicures, very ticklish?
Like in certain parts, yeah.
Okay. So like when they do the pumice stone, is that very ticklish for you? Is that kind of hard to do it?
Very much so.
Okay.
Like
I
cringing.
have a trick for you. Okay.
Okay.
Do you mind if we test it?
Sure.
All right, cool. All right. So let me just get you to kind of put your feet out straight and then toes up like this. We're going to go one to the right and then go to the left. And then you just tell me where the area is that you feel it at most. Hold on. You mind holding that for me just for a bit? Out here at the beach, guys. All right, cool. And then I just want you to tell me where you feel it at most. Okay, thank you so much.
Oh my God.
Got a little camera helper right here, guys. All right, cool. So we're gonna start with the right. I'm gonna work my way from bottom to top. Actually, do you mind if I clean them off with a towel real quick?
Sure.
Just so the that way we don't feel as much. Like, here we go. All right, cool. Sometimes that sand will block it from you being able to feel the sensitivity all the way. All right, cool. That seems a lot better. All right, cool. So we're gonna start from bottom to top. I want you to tell me where you feel it at most. Which foot do you feel it at on most? Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Where are we feeling it at right here? Is it right in the arch? I saw you kind of move a little bit. So it seemed like arching going up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like right here and then right up in here. Okay. So here's what I want you to tell me. Tell me if the left is worse in this moment. Okay.
Okay. 1,
1, 2, 3. All right. You felt it more.
Yeah.
So your left seems to be the more sensitive one.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to wiggle your toes while I'm doing it, and you tell me if you feel it more or less.
Definitely less.
Do you know why?
I'm distracted.
That's part of it. So also though, your muscles like are moving around, so it's like moving the energy. So as I'm doing it, that energy is moving to another area, so you don't feel it in that direct area where I'm doing it at. So that's a trick for you. You go to get your pedicure done. They're doing the pumice stone. Just kind of wiggle your toes a little bit. It'll alleviate it. Let's try the left because this one's the most sensitive one, right? Is it less? A little bit less. So,
barely.
So just a little bit less. Okay. So let me ask you this, because originally you said it was pretty high.
Yeah.
What was the level on it originally? 1 out of 10.
Pretty high. It's like a solid 8.
Solid 8. When you wiggled your toes,
It's the same.
it was on the left one, but on the right one, did it go down?
I didn't feel like anything. I would say like a 2 or
Interesting.
a 1.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me get you to do a couple exercises. This is going to be tests like dexterity, flexibility in your feet. Okay. And I want you to just tell me if you feel any pain or discomfort while you're doing this, okay? Let me get you to bend your toes, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping, anything like that.
Yeah, it feels like weak.
Where?
Like just.
Oh, it's kind of hard for you to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't have strong feet
Okay,
muscles.
got it. Relax. Let me get you to spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort. Does that
A little
still
bit. Wow, my feet are so tired. I went to a concert last night.
Interesting.
I'm exhausted.
So that's kind of the exhaustion coming in right now.
Yeah.
All right, let me get you. Wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping, anything like that.
Yeah, my muscles are a little sore.
A little sore.
Yeah.
Okay,
from
got
running
it.
around
So
last night.
I have a trick for you that you can do to like kind of loosen up your feet muscles and all that stuff. basically taking a golf ball or tennis ball, rubbing your foot across it, like rolling your foot across it, like in the mornings, will actually like start to loosen up a lot of those muscles and stuff that you don't use actively on a daily basis. I would imagine you don't do a lot of those motions or anything.
No.
So that's an easy way to kind of like loosen it up so that you're like a little bit more, you know, flexible in those areas as well. Absolutely. All right, so let's wrap up the interview. In terms of my approach, right, coming up to you out of the blue, you're like, I didn't expect this guy to come out of nowhere. Came up out of nowhere. In terms of my approach, was my approach good? Was it bad? What were your thoughts about it?
Yeah, no, you're super friendly and like easy to talk to, and I definitely don't like get any threatening vibes, and you're just like a happy guy, and I'm just like, it's beautiful out, fuck it.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day up here at the beach. Absolutely.
Yeah.
In terms of the interview, start to finish, right? Did you see how everything was going in a line? Did it make sense? Did you learn anything new from the information I provided?
Yeah, I think I would be interested in seeing a reflexologist for my feet.
Okay.
Maybe. Like, I don't know that I love foot massages, so in general, I feel like
medical
I forget.
pedicures, right? We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah,
absolutely, some pretty good things here. The last thing I always ask during my interviews, something that you can like say to my channel from like a mental health standpoint that can like be uplifting, motivational. Don't think about it too much, just whatever comes to mind, whatever you can share with us.
Yeah, I would say no feelings or bad feelings. If you're feeling sad, depressed, anxiety, like they're all just your body trying to communicate to you, and don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to accept how you feel, and then from there you can heal and show up for yourself, and then you can show up for other people more. And that's how we get a better world and everyone's happier.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you like stopping by and doing this interview with us today. All right. And we hope that you have a great one. Okay.
Bye.
All right.